a top-tier K-pop star just found himself in a business mess nobody saw coming. And this time, it has nothing to do with his music career or personal life. We're talking about highball drinks, origin labeling complaints, and an investment that's now under serious scrutiny. Jin from BTS, one of the most recognizable faces in global entertainment, co founded a liquor company that's currently being investigated for allegedly misleading consumers about where their ingredients actually come from. And here's the kicker: most fans had no idea he was even involved in this business until the investigation hit the headlines. So let's break down exactly what went wrong. In December 2022, Jin co founded a company called JINI'S Lamp alongside Baek Jong-won, a celebrity chef and restaurant mogul who's basically a household name in Korea's food industry. Together, they launched a line of flavored highball drinks, including popular plum and watermelon varieties. But then a consumer complaint surfaced that changed everything. Someone noticed that the online product listings for these highball drinks claimed domestic Korean origin, but the actual ingredients told a different story. According to the complaint, the plum concentrate came from Chile and the watermelon concentrate came from the United States. That's a major red flag in Korea, where origin labeling laws are strict and taken incredibly seriously. Here's why this matters so much. South Korea has extremely specific regulations about what can and cannot be labeled as domestically produced. If you're marketing a product as made in Korea, you need to back that up with Korean ingredients, with only a handful of exceptions like water, alcohol, sweeteners, and certain additives. Everything else needs to be local, or you're required to clearly state where those ingredients came from. When a company claims something is Korean made but uses foreign concentrates without proper disclosure, that's not just misleading, it's potentially illegal. The National Agricultural Products Quality Management Service, which oversees these regulations, received the complaint and forwarded it to their regional office for investigation. This isn't a criminal prosecution yet, it's an active investigation to determine whether the company actually violated labeling laws and, if so, how serious the violation was. Now let's talk about JINI'S Lamp's response, because they didn't just stay silent. The company came out and said that the actual product labels themselves were compliant with regulations and that the errors appeared on certain online marketplace listings which were later corrected. But here's the problem with that defense. Whether the mistake was on a bottle label or an online listing, consumers were still given incorrect information. And when you're dealing with origin labeling laws, the government doesn't really care whose fault it technically was. The company is responsible for making sure their product information is accurate everywhere it appears. If those listings said domestic origin while using foreign concentrates, that's still a violation even if it wasn't intentional fraud. This brings us to Jin's role in all of this, which is where things get complicated. He's listed as a co-founder and investor in JINI'S Lamp, but we don't actually know the specifics of his involvement. Was he hands-on with operations, or was he a silent investor who put in money and trusted others to run things? Public sources haven't clarified his exact operational role or investment share. What we do know is that his name is attached to the brand, and in the world of celebrity business, that's what matters most. When you're someone like Jin, your reputation is your currency. Fans trust you, and when your name gets linked to a business under investigation, that trust takes a hit even if you personally didn't do anything wrong. You can't just profit from a business when things are going well and then distance yourself when problems arise. The public sees your name, they see the investigation, and they make a connection whether it's fair or not. Korean netizens have been processing this in real time, and their comments reveal everything. So he wasn't just a model, one person wrote, realizing this situation is way more serious than they initially thought. Another said, label of origin is the standard. They should be doing their work properly. Someone else admitted, I thought it was a one-time collab, not an actual business partnership, which shows how many people genuinely had no idea Jin was this deeply involved. The reactions aren't rage-filled cancel culture, it's quiet disappointment, exhausted resignation that somehow feels heavier than outright anger. So, what actually happens next? The National Agricultural Products Quality Management Service is investigating the complaint to determine whether JINI'S Lamp actually violated origin labeling laws. If they find intentional violations, the penalties could include significant fines and legal consequences for those directly responsible. If it's ruled as negligence rather than fraud, the consequences might be lighter legally. But here's the thing: even if no criminal charges ever materialize, the damage to reputation is already done. For Jin specifically, he's a co founder and investor, not the CEO making operational decisions about labeling, so he might not face direct legal consequences. But the court of public opinion doesn't work the same way as a regulatory investigation. Even if he's never officially held responsible, the association is already there. People will remember this. Celebrity business ventures carry massive financial upside, but the risk is just as real. Jin likely invested in good faith, trusted experienced partners like Baek Jung-won to handle operations properly, and assumed all regulatory compliance was being managed correctly. But when your name is your brand, being associated with something controversial is sometimes just as damaging as being directly responsible for it. One complaint, one investigation, one headline, and suddenly your carefully built reputation takes a hit that might take years to repair. For Jin, the next few months will determine how this story ends. If the investigation clears the company or results in minor penalties, he might weather this with minimal long term damage. If it escalates, if more evidence emerges, the fallout could be much worse. But regardless of the legal outcome, this has already become a case study in what happens when celebrity investments go wrong. In 2025, your name is your brand. And when that brand gets tied to a regulatory investigation, you pay the price in public perception, whether you personally deserve to or not. The financial rewards of these ventures can be enormous, but so can the reputational cost. And that's a lesson being learned in real time right now. That's where things stand right now. Jin's name is tied to an investigation that most people never saw coming, and we're all watching to see how this plays out. Will the investigation clear the company, or will this become a bigger legal issue? Only time will tell. But one thing's for sure, this is a reminder that in the world of celebrity business, your reputation is always on the line. If you found this breakdown helpful and want to stay updated on more stories like this, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you don't miss out. Drop a comment below and let me know what you think about this whole situation. Do you think Jin should be held accountable, or is this just bad luck with a business investment? I'd love to hear your thoughts. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next video. Stay curious, stay informed, and I'll see you soon.